Hello, welcome back to another episode of Bengali Girl. This is your podcast host Nikita, and I'm so grateful that you're here. We are moving on to, more of a routine now, and I love the fact that I'm here, recording episodes after episodes and actually feeling refreshed, and I have this brand new idea of where I want this podcast to be. Thank you so much to listening to the season 2 first episode. I hope you liked my wedding rant. It has been getting a lot of traction. This is something that Akib and I were talking about, and he's just like, maybe you should tone down a little bit of the negative, like talking or bashing people. And I was like, honestly, why should I? They perform well in terms of stats, but also these are my stories and these are my experiences. And he's like, okay, fair enough. But, just an experience from my end is that when I talk about these things that I've kept probably deep inside, buried in one of my journals, and now it's coming out and I can speak about it freely and openly, I just feel so relaxed, and I have this sense of not feeling scared or being fearless in terms of, why should I worry if someone listens to one of my episodes and they think it's about them? I mean, if the shoe fits, However, this episode, sometimes, I get on these rants and talking about my feelings and just frustrations about certain people, and it really comes out, and I have to stop myself and be like, girl, leave them, But it's all internal monologue, to be honest. I don't think I can go up to anyone and be like, hey, stop being a shit person. That wouldn't work. They wouldn't stop being a shit person, because if you have done anything shitty in your life, you just have to realize that that's just who you are, and unless and until you do a lot of internal work on yourself, that's not going to change. However, this episode is based around gatekeeping, and I feel like this has been examples set into our culture that, hey, if someone comes and asks you about something, don't help them. Don't give them a suggestion, don't give them advice, don't tell them the shop name or the person you've been consulting, because what if they're better than you? And I know this based on my own experience as being a brown girl, but it did take a lot for me to break out of this mold, and I think it comes from a place of insecurity where you're just not confident about yourself. And that was me till I was in grade 8. I think I kind of put my life into these series, these episodes, or let's say seasons, right? So my season started in Fujairah in United Arab Emirates, and that was season 1 of my life. And season 2 was when I moved to Dubai and I started school at the Westminster School, and season 3 is when I went to uni in Dubai, and then season 4 is me moving here in Australia, and so on and so forth. Okay, you get the gist of how I mark seasons in my life when it's a big event that has happened, right? So season 1 of my life, I believe, and I know for sure that I was not as confident and as secure with myself. That stems from, not being or not feeling confident at home, being constantly compared to your sibling, being constantly compared to the other people in the world that your parents might know, or not feeling confident because the boy that you might like at that point did not like you back. These were the reasons I think that I wasn't really confident, and I felt really insecure about myself. I felt I wasn't good enough. So anytime anyone would compliment me at that point in my life and would be like, oh, where'd you get this from? I would straight up be like, I don't know, my mom got it. And it took me to come into season 2 of my life, which is in Dubai, to realize that, hey, be confident in yourself. Like, stop being insecure. Definitely, strongly, any kind of adjective to represent the word strong and confident. I was very much sure that moving to Dubai and like just rebuilding myself or working on myself really helped my confidence and my insecurities. My confidence and my insecurities were about my skin tone because, of course, as you are aware, being fair is considered the ideal, is considered the standard of beauty, or was. It's getting better now, but was considered like the ultimate standard of beauty, and all those things I wasn't, because I loved being out in the sun. And I was in the Middle East, I was in the middle of a desert and of course I'm not gonna be like very fair, because that's just how my skin reacts to the sun. But anyways, that's just the science behind it. It's very difficult to make the society understand, but that was my biggest insecurity, was like my skin tone. I felt like I wasn't grooming myself well. Like, there were so many girls, they looked so put together, and I didn't know what was making them look so put together. Like, I couldn't really pick. These are not things they teach you in school. I didn't go to a school of finishing, right, that people do, where they teach you etiquette and they teach you how to like behave and present yourself. And I felt like I was some days trying to adopt certain lifestyles that I thought was the thing. Some days, like back in season 1 for sure, in Fujairah, some days I was like a tomboy, right? And then some days I was like a girl's girl, like I was so girly. And then there was some days where I was a nerd, and there were some days where I would try to like be cool, or be one of the cool kids and hang out with them in school. And it's just exhausting. It was exhausting, because every day I felt like I didn't know myself, and I would wake up and be like, I was excited to go to school and I love my classmates. I think it was just more of an internal issue in me where I felt like I wasn't fitting in, because I felt like I didn't have the latest things, I didn't have the new things, I'm not, as polished or as pretty as the other girls. It was just a lot of insecurities that I had. And growing up, of course, it helps you to like start become confident in yourself. But what really pushed me in the season 2 of my life, which was moving to Dubai, was my sister moved out of home. So she went to uni, and that kind of like took away the umbrella that I had in season 1. By that I mean is my sister was like the head girl of the school. She was like the ultimate person that I wanted to be. She was everything that the society considered beautiful. She had like amazing grades. Every teacher loved her, and I wanted to be like her. And I feel like I was working so hard in being like her that I forgot to be myself. And that is why maybe no one really understood who I was. Like, what was I trying to be as a kid? That goes for my parents too. But moving to Dubai, once my sister moved out, I felt like, oh, now I have no one to look forward to, or like look up to, because every day I would wake up and I'd see her and she's doing these many things in her life, and I would adopt like certain things that she's doing. But in Dubai, I didn't have anyone to look up to, and that kind of gave me like a cultural, not a cultural shock, but just a shock that, oh shit, I have to figure out and navigate everything that's going here, from like the social scenes to like the education to just being myself, or like being with my parents. Everything I have to navigate new, because I've never done that before. I've never really been alone at home and not have my sister like not be around me for more than like 3-4 hours. We were constantly together. Even when she used to hang out with her friends, my mom would send me with her, So it was very complicated, but I think it helped me. In Fujairah, or season 1 of my life, as I like to call it, and you must be like, oh my God, can you shut up? But no, this is a podcast, okay? Get over it. But like in season 1 of my life, I didn't have to be social, like other than with my friends, of course, but like I was considered a very quiet, shy, and reserved person. And sometimes when I tell Akib that, yeah, I was all these things, he's like, what? He can't believe it, because I kind of like had to groom myself in Dubai, because I was like, oh shit, I need to like make friends outside of school. Like, you know, when we go to like these dawats and everything, like I need to be friends or make friends, or I need to be more social and more vocal about what I want. And I think these were like the internal work that I did on myself. Because if you've if you've listened to the episode with my best friend Maisha, we talk about how I met her, and that was, trust me, one of the first conversations that I actually took the initiative of. And the other conversation that I took the initiative of talking was with this friend, Afreen. I mean, I don't know if she's listening, but honestly, she's been such a force in my life in Dubai, because she was my everything. She was the person that I would wake up and talk to. She was the person who I'd randomly just, hang out with for hours on, and we don't have to have a conversation. We're just by each other. I think she kind of filled that void of not having my sister with me, but in a way that helped me grow as a person as well. And I feel like with her, because I don't have a younger sibling, I took her on as a younger sibling, and I wanted to be that figure for her to look up to, for her to realize that, hey, I like what she's doing. Maybe I can it's normal psychology. You try to be what you don't have, right? And moving out of all that, I really appreciate her though as a human being. Like season 2 of Dubai, like it's nothing without the mention of Afreen. Like everyone thought we were like stuck the bum together or something. But just having her, or like having my friends, I started to realize how I appreciate myself. I started to appreciate the little things about myself, and slowly build my confidence, or slowly build my ability to converse with people. As I told you, the introduction theory and stuff, I started adopting all of that, or, I thought I made those things up myself. Turns out, no, there are these things that have been existing, but I just didn't know. No one taught me, right? So I taught these theories to myself. And then I realized that all these things that I've worked on myself are things that should have been shared, should have been told by someone to me. Not in school, but more at home. And unfortunately, my mom was the ultimate tomboy growing up. So she had no idea of how to do certain things. Like, I still don't know how to braid my own hair. I tried watching YouTube videos to learn how to braid my own hair, and sometimes it ends up okay, but in the beginning, when you start your braid, that's just a different story for me. It just feels inverted and whatever. So I don't know how to braid my hair properly. My friends at school try to teach me. Susan, she tried to teach me how to braid my hair, and I just gave up and was like, you just do it for me. So I think these are certain things that I hope and I wish that people didn't gatekeep. They actually told you, shared with you. And I think my sister and I were kind of in the same boat, where we figured life out together. Like, my sister would come home and tell me, oh, Nikki, this is cool, that you should do this and all that. And I would tell her and everything, and we would exchange information and deets about all that. It's just so complicated being a girl, because you're so much more to learn and everything. And I didn't know all of that. For example, I didn't know that there was supposed to be a skincare routine. No one really told me that. I woke up and I brushed my teeth, but I just got out of the house. I didn't put a moisturizer on. I didn't put sunscreen on. I didn't put anything on. Even having it after a shower, the only thing my mom would do was slather me in lotion, and that's the only thing I still do right now. But the extra steps of how to take care of yourself, how to do your hair. I cannot do a hairstyle to save my life. And that's just so sad for me, because you wear these amazing outfits and you know exactly the hairstyle that will go with that outfit, and you can't do it unless you pay someone professionally. But come on, I'm trying to be an economic girly here, so I can't really spend money on someone doing my hair. I'm not a celebrity, right? So not yet. But like all these things, the little things, I feel like I wish that someone taught me and didn't gatekeep. Because when I used to ask my other girlfriends at that time certain things, like for example, where did they get this top, or like, you know, where did they get the nail polish, or what are they doing with their makeup, because I didn't know how to do makeup. And I grew up in an era where YouTube started, or like YouTube makeup videos really started, or I started watching them when I was in uni, not even in like school. And like I look at my makeup back then, like, oh my god. Thank God for, you know, the extra saturation pictures that we used to do back in the day, because otherwise my face and the makeup that I used to have would be so distorted. People would think I'm trying to be something else. So I'm really glad we had those filters on. But other than those things, I feel like girls, you need to like start sharing. You need to start telling people how you do things if you really believe. And I really think every girl has like this one trick up her sleeve that she does that just makes such a difference. And I feel like just share it. Like, what's the whole point of just keeping it within yourself? And yeah, I'm not saying like voluntarily like share every day what you're doing and all that, but like if someone asks you and be like, hey, I really like, you know, what you did with your eyeliner, for example, could you tell me? Tell them. Like, yeah, you know, I use this tool that helps me like wing it more, or, you know, my hands, this is what I do. Anyone who tells me, oh, it just happens, I don't believe that. 100% never believe it. Like if you tell me that this winged eyeliner is just one of your first attempts and you're like, this is how you've been born with. No one's born with like having a great winged eyeliner. Everyone learns through the process, right? And I feel like anyone who says that would not be honest about certain things in their life. However, moving on from that, share is a big thing in 2024. Don't gatekeep. If you feel like gatekeeping, sure, that's your opinion, but share because one day you might need info, right? It's a give and take world. Girls, don't try to be like, I don't want this person to be better than me. No one can be better than you if you believe in that. Right? So if you think that, hey, I am this amazing person, I know my qualities, I know my shortcomings, and you're just aware of who you are as a person, you will never have that thought where you're like, oh shit, this person's better than me. Because you are in a competition with yourself, with your past self, with your future self, because you have this idea of your future self and you want to be better than that. So I think it's very important to understand that we are here in this world for a limited number of days. It's important to share and enjoy the life that we are in. I know a lot of you hearing this might be like, oh my God, she's so like culty about this, or like I've heard these things, which is why I'm telling you, like, you know, I'm very positive. I've heard that as a criticism on my podcast, and I think it's because of all the struggles I've had, of all the learnings that I've had to do is the reason why I am very positive. Like I can spin anything from negative to positive. There have been, like if I start listing all the worst, like absolute shit experiences that I've had, you would be shocked how I'm still a positive person. But to be honest, things that have really helped me get this outlook in life is reading like books that help me get a different perspective on life. And no, I'm not talking about books like, what's that book? How to be subtle, or like wait, hold on, let me find the name of the book. Yeah, found it. The book's name is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Like honestly, those kind of books, they're great, but I feel like it's more, I don't know how to explain it. The perspective is very Mean Girl vibes. It's like, you can't do this. This is so easy. And it might work for some people. It definitely did not work for me, because I'm just like, why are you demeaning all that. Like, just give me your perspective and I'll take that and I'll walk away from that book. So yeah, I tried to read that book. I even gifted it to a girlfriend thinking that both of us might get some help out of it, but no, did not help. The book that really helped me is a gift from my best friend Yasin, and he gifted me a book on my birthday because I think I was talking to him about certain aspects of my life back then. So he gave me this book, and it's called The Courage to Be Disliked. And it's so good, and I highly recommend it if you're in this space where you feel like, you are stuck in this rut and you're not really going anywhere. There are people in your life that are not being supportive, you're not understanding, you're very confused. Read that book, The Courage to Be Disliked. And it's not like, oh, okay, I don't give a shit. It's not that. It's not. It's getting that confidence in yourself, belief in yourself. It's so important. That's one thing, reading books like that. The other book that I highly recommend, I found it on TikTok. Trust me when I say this, I don't really rely on TikTok to give me book talk, I don't really rely on book talk to give me recommendations because it's very murky, right? So when I've read some that was recommended and it was horrible. I DNF'd, and I never DNF'd on a book. And I've DNF'd on 3 books this year itself because I was reading it and the story was just not storying, Sometimes you just need a story, like a really good story. And I feel like because I read so many books, it's hard for me to really now find something that really talks to me or like really makes me go like, wow, But yeah, the other book that I highly recommend, and I got this from TikTok, is the 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. I'll repeat that if you can't go back, but 101 essays that will change the way you think. And it did. There were certain aspects, especially when it came to making career moves, because I was a marketing girly, did my degree in marketing for my bachelor's, and now I'm working as a consultant with a strong foundation or a strong dependency on data analysis. So being that or making that change was like a big leap. If you work in any of the industries, you would know what a leap that is, because I have not had any idea about anything to do with data analysis, learned everything myself. But coming back to the book, right? This is by an author called Brianna Wiest, I think it's Wiest. That's her surname. But this book essentially helped me build and understand why change is necessary in your life. And it's not only about your career, it could be about the way you lead your day-to-day life. It could be about the friendships that you hold. It just helped me understand how important it is to just understand that if you are comfortable, you need to change. Because that's not how life should be led. Because if you get comfortable, it will lead eventually to being bored. And change is the only thing that is constant in your life. And you need to be more adaptable with change. And you just need to understand that you are not the product of the consequences, but you create those consequences with any kind of, because we're all energy as humans. Whatever you do, if I wake up with a bad mindset, then my whole day is going to be shit, right? Because I will be complaining left, right, back, center. I'll just keep on complaining about everything because I woke up with that mindset. But if you wake up with this mindset that, hey, today, even if I don't get a lot of shit done, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to have a positive and a good day. It's those changes in mindsets that really, really, really helped me. And I do this little thing with friends, especially girls or my girlfriends who love reading books as well. Sometimes we take a book. So let's say you're reading something just look at that book and ask a question, right? So, for example, in my book, I literally have the 101 essays that'll change the way you think in front of me, because I was like, this is the vibe that I want for this podcast. And let's ask a question. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna ask. Oh, let me tell you what the rules are, right? So I'll ask a question and I'll randomly flip open the book, and the page, it'll talk to me. It will talk to you. It's like those videos that you see on TikTok when you're scrolling and it's like, if you are a Virgo, Libra, Leo, then this message is for you. And the message is so generic, but it talks to you. You know what I mean? Because it suits your situation, or you interpret it in a way that you want to. So I love doing this with like my girlfriends. Because then I like to see the interpretations that we do out of that message in the book or something that we do. I usually do it with like poetry books that I have, but let's go with this one. I've never done it with this book yet. But let me think about what question. Okay. Let's ask something for the podcast, right? My question for this podcast is, what is something that all of us Bengali girls, or just us girls, need to learn and adopt in life? Okay. Ooh, I am reading page 155 of the book. You are experiencing feelings and fears you had when you were a kid. It's all coming back up to the surface, and what you're realizing is that it was never really gone in the first place. The thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and feelings you kept tucked away were silently guiding your life. You just didn't know. Oh my God, I literally have goosebumps right now, because shut up. What are we discussing in this podcast? And this just came up. Page 155 of the book, it's point number 9. I don't know what chapter this is. It's chapter 32. The chapter is Signs Your Mental Breakdown is Actually an Emotional Breakthrough. And it's point number 9, that you're experiencing feelings and fears you had when you were a kid. Wow. There are like 10, 11, 12 points, but I don't think I need to read that much. Just take the first few lines, or however you want to play the game. It's up to you. You'll make the rules, right? But we were just talking about how my season 1 and how we grow up and the consequence. Wow. I am fully blown away by my own doing. Does that happen? Sometimes I do things and I'm like, I can do that. For example, I can actually run for 10 minutes straight. It can be on a terrain. It can be on the treadmill. If it's on the treadmill, I run at a speed of 6.7 kilometers. I don't know if it's per hour, but 6.7 on a treadmill. And if it's on a terrain, my pace is not that great because it's on a terrain, but my pace is around 9. Okay, so whatever. But I'm so proud of myself because if you told me last year that I can run for 10 minutes straight, 10 minutes straight. I used to go to the gym, but I used to do weights and stuff, right? I never really ran. If you tell me that I can run for 10 minutes straight, girlfriend, I can achieve the world, right? Okay, guys, but that's all for this episode. Remember, don't gatekeep, but be a girl boss and help other girls be girl bosses too, because this world is all about collaboration. So keep collaborating. But I'll see you in the next episode where we will be discussing something that is very, very important because we have really seen not great examples in our life, relationships, and I might have a special guest on that podcast. But thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful for you, and thank you. Bye.